What are you running from? He beat you, didn't he? Stop running from it. Let that pain become your inspiration, and then you'll have something that people can believe in.
So a lot of people ask me what it's like to live with David, and I figured I had the perfect opportunity tonight to just give a little bit of insight. So today, just randomly, David says after we come home from the gym that he was going to go on a 100-mile ruck tonight. So unplanned, just spur of the moment. We're out here. We left just about 12 and a half hours ago, or just over 12. Oh God, that's blurry. 12:43 a.m. It's 38 degrees. And he's about 60 or 60 some miles in at this point. I haven't spoken to him in a few hours other than to give him my socks because it's cold and he has Raynaud's, so he's wearing them as his gloves. And, you know, it's lonely as hell. No one's out here. It's just me. No one would even know he's doing this if I wasn't recording this video. And that's so much of his life, just all of the unseen work that goes into being David. I don't think people can even imagine the discipline and the hours spent alone just grinding. And the other thing people can't imagine is the pain and discomfort that goes into it. You know, every day when he starts running, it's like the first few miles, he's just hobbling along. And, you know, I know that he's just 3 months post-surgery. 3.5 months ago, I wrote to his surgeon. It was end of September, and I said, you know, David was going to come in for surgery, and he said, well, I just hope he's not jumping out of planes. Well, he sure was. He was in British Columbia jumping out of planes.
There's a process to all this stuff, man. The process starts with, you got to shut off technology. You got to go here. I call it the dark room, where you're alone. No cell phones, no music, no TVs, no computers. You by yourself. Very few people want to be alone anymore. They want to be around noise and people, and you can't think. Be alone, go to that dark space. In that dark space, shut life off for a little bit. Go to a dark place in your mind and figure out what the you want to be. You don't know what you don't want, because you don't know what you want to be because you haven't spent time, real time with yourself. Spend time with yourself. Trust me. And once you find that passion and that purpose, your goals, your purpose, everything will just start lining up. And then you'll find the courage to start that journey from that 20 to 100.
I think intellect not only demands solitude, but it feeds on it. I think you are the product of who you are when no one is watching, essentially.
You know, it's interesting. A lot of people are afraid of being alone because they think that being alone means that you're lonely. I was walking down the streets here in London, and there was a homeless man. It said, hungry and lonely. And I'm like, you know, sometimes, you know, I slept in my car, but I never felt lonely. I was with myself because I developed a relationship with myself. So solitude is extremely important because most people don't create the time, the space in order to converse with themselves, in order to think, in order to get to know who they are. Know thyself. Why? Because if you know yourself, you know your tendencies, you know your habits, you know your behaviors, you know what you're good at, you're bad at, what's your weakness, what's your strength. You can develop a strategy, a plan to build yourself up. If you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going, you're gonna end up in limbo. Solitude is key because it creates the silence and the space in order for you to grow. And in the darkness, putting in the work, in the quiet hours, that's where winning is made.
If I'm running on a treadmill and I get to mile 9 and I get complete cramp in one of my legs, and I know I've told myself I'm going to run 10 kilometers today, he goes, I will have to limp the last mile, even if no one's watching, because I can't let the demons in. And if I let the demons in, they'll show up in the 11th round of a championship fight when there's 50,000 people watching me in the audience. And I know deep in my self-story that I'm the type of person that quits when things get hard because I got off that treadmill at mile 9 when no one was watching. It would modify my self-story. The commitments we keep to ourselves and what we do when no one's watching is the most persuasive evidence that governs everything we then do every day thereafter.
That's the thing about being alone. It's not that you feel like you don't have anybody. It's like you feel like nobody has you. And man, and I know especially when we're young, we can't even put it into words, but we can feel that. And I remember a lot as a child feeling that way. You know, just feeling like nobody has me.